Okay, let's jump right into it. So in season 2, we saw your character was kind of forced to work with Vinci to get out of, pretty tricky situation. Are we going to see more of that dynamic or friendship in season 3, or
we may do?
We may
do. I mean, I love the relationship Riario's had with Vinci from day one has changed so much. I love it. It's a really epic sweep. It started with him trying to blackmail him and bribe him and enlist him and then try and blow his head off with a bazooka, and then over season 2 they forged this kind of on-off antagonistic alliance where they don't know quite how much trust there is, and they end in a place where there's a kind of mutual respect, and it's because it's direct continuity between series 2 and 3 that still exists, but without giving too much away, I will say it gets pretty messy this season. It's pretty messy.
Which is the main challenge in acting in a character who changes so much from the pilot to the end of the second season?
I don't think I've ever played a character who has evolved more during the course of a show. When I think of where he started the series, it's just this kind of ruthless bastard, but with such a strong religious underpinning. And he's just, in season 2, he's pushed a breaking point mentally and physically. All his beliefs and ideology and philosophy is stripped away, and he's kind of a shell of where he was series 1. And then series 3, it gets darker. It just gets darker and darker. He's in a really hazardous place this season. But I think, he is coming right off the back of this confession that he killed his mother and that he killed his girlfriend and that he's failed to find any redemption, and he's abducted by a terrible group called the Enemies of Man who tried to torture and brainwash him. He's tried to kill himself. So, we start in the darkest of places, and I think he's just in search for a new cause in life, a God that will answer his pleas. And I won't say whether he finds it or not, but I will say it propels him on a journey which threatens to destroy him. Generally, the jeopardy the characters are in this year is high. I would say there's a red alert has been activated. Like in the first 2 seasons, you kind of get used to the sense that in this world, people triumph over adversity. Generally, the heroes pull through, they manage to put it out of the bag at the last minute. This season, that's not the case. A lot of what is sweeping through this season just sweeps characters right out of the show. There's a high death count. There's a high. Last year we didn't see a lot of the characters together. They were separated to the 4 corners of the earth, and this year they're put back together. But you suddenly realise a lot of them are these kind of broken creatures that have impacted so heavily on each other. So I think it's lovely seeing them all regroup, but they're so different this year. And I think one thing that John Schreiber has done brilliantly is invest in these characters, and the quality of the writing is exceptional, which for an actor is a joy to play. I've loved this season. We've got a way to go. I don't know where it's going myself. Tell me if you have any ideas. But
what kind of research did you do for your character?
It's changed each season actually. So when we begun, I started looking into the social history, and there is a real Riario, there was a Sixtus, so obviously it behoves you to do a little research into all of that. And I studied medieval Italian at university, so I was interested in the whole social history. Then you get the scripts through, and that becomes the new Bible, because what we're trying to create is its own coherent universe with its own rules, and we cherry pick things from history and we extrapolate beyond that. Season 2, I did a lot of physical training for the cornfield stuff. I trained in Krav Maga, just to kind of toughen me up. This season, it's just been more of the same. It's kind of, I did a lot of work on scripture because that comes heavily into it. I did a lot more social history, but really, with a show like this, the script is the Bible. That's the show we're kind of dedicated to kind of bringing to screen.
In order to build your character, you've been inspired by other villains?
Yeah, of course, always. Before I started the show, I basically sat down for a week and I watched every villain who I'd remembered enjoying seeing on TV or film. And then you take all that and you throw it all away, try and do your own thing. But it's a lovely exercise. It's just a good excuse to watch a lot of nice films, in honesty.
Which has been there.
So polite. I love this politeness. I thought this was like a British thing, but I'm glad to see it's kind of an international thing.
I just go on.
No. After you.
Okay. So this is kind of like a crazy, dumb question, but season 1, the beard was, modest. Season 2, it got bigger. So in season 3, are we expecting like larger scale beard?
There's an owl living in my beard in season 3. Spoiler. Well, season 2 it was big because there are no barbershops in Peru, sadly. We actually shot a scene where Riario was in Machu Picchu looking for a barbershop. Failing to find. We didn't actually shoot that, don't worry. But there was, we wanted a slight Robinson Crusoe, the character who in season 1 was so groomed and kind of had a kind of sartorial elegance, being out of his comfort zone, going slightly kind of wild and feral. Season 3, I'm back in Rome, so I can get back into the Vatican barbershop if I give them enough notice. So, which is why I'm a little more groomed this year. A little more groomed.
Well, the reason I asked is because it kind of your beard kind of dealt with the show, because season 1 the show was nice, and then season 2 everything was just grander. You had more location, bigger castles, and
bigger beard.
Bigger beard.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering, season 3, if if things come with everyone coming back together and.
What you're seeing is my beard this year is more dark, complex, fully formed. My beard is the barometer of the show, basically.
It is.
So
In what season 3 would be different from the previous ones?
I think what we've done this year, we've really dug into the mythology of the characters and the darkness of the characters. I think, season 2, it was a wonderfully exciting adventure going off and telling the story of these kind of disparate groups going off around the world. And I think this year we've just come back together and we're forging. It's all about the characters this year, and obviously there is this terrible threat of the Ottoman invasion that is, poised to destroy all of Italy, and it galvanises all the characters together. There are unlikely alliances, allegiances, people are forced to coexist, and it creates for very exciting tensions and dramas. I just heard Greg Chillen saying he wanted to swim in the papal baths. So
Thank you.
no comment.
Thank you.